Hello and welcome to the Tipsy Theory podcast. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alicia.
And today we're going to be taking a break from our regular formatting of The More You Know, and we're going to be delving into a new segment. Alicia, why don't you tell us about our new segment?
Our new segment is called Debate Date, and we're going to be talking about up-to-date topics and our opinions on those topics.
And we may or may not disagree on said topics. We're about to find out. But before we move on, today's drink of choice is mojito. We recently came back from vacation in Cuba where we drank nothing but mojitos. So link in the description below for our mojito recipe.
Yes, mojitos are amazing, although every day was a bit extreme considering Cuba runs out of mint on a daily basis.
And I also drank like 4. Anyway, leaving alcoholism aside, today's sponsor is Groundhog Marketing Automation for WordPress. Groundhog is a marketing automation plugin for WordPress that allows you to simplify, consolidate, and automate all of your sales and marketing within WordPress. More about our sponsor later. But Alicia, why don't you introduce us to today's debate date topic?
Okay, so this topic came out, what would you say, a week and a half ago? 2 weeks?
Just about.
Yeah. So if most of you don't already know, which you probably do, Instagram has now taken off the like feature for their most Canadian users. I think it's still in the promo phase, so it's not the entire nation, but a majority of Canadians have announced they've already started to see the other instead of the number of likes. So
liked by Alicia House and others,
instead
is, I
of
believe what it says.
Liked by Alicia and 73 other people. So we're going to talk about this because it's been very controversial among the Instagram community. A lot of people really like it and a lot of people really hate it.
So I have some facts. Just to provide some context to listeners, I Googled some facts really quickly about the topic, and I found a couple articles. One from the Financial Times that, quote-unquote, references the following. A blog post from the company suggests that the aim of this test in Canada is to encourage followers to focus on the photos and videos that are shared rather than the feedback they get. While I searched for this original blog post that was reportedly taken from the Facebook blog, I could not find it for the life of me.
I cannot find it either, which I find fairly interesting because for such a big initiative, you think that a lot of the users would be able to originally find the post.
Yeah, so all of my information is actually coming from third or second sources at this point. I was unable to find the actual post, but it continues. Instagram users themselves will be able to access their own view counts for a specific post, but they'll need to tap through a post to view those metrics. So that means that by looking at your timeline as post, you're not able to actually see the metrics, but you can click on the post to actually view total metrics, but only to the person whose post it is.
Although another thing to mention as well is while you may not be able to see the likes of other users, you are able to click the other button on Instagram and you can scroll through the amount of people that have liked it.
I thought that was only your friends though. Is that anybody?
Anybody who liked it.
Okay.
So while of course you can technically count the number, but that's
who gonna do that though?
That's a lot more work than, just seeing a number there. So they haven't completely disassociate themselves from the likes because it's still very plausible to see who liked it, but it's less obvious.
So some further context, Adam Mosseri, who is the head of Instagram at Facebook, said that this feature was set up in order to create a less pressurized environment where people feel comfortable expressing themselves. This test will take place in Canada first and then be rolled out elsewhere. Now that was a direct quote from the F8 Developers Conference, so the Facebook Developers Conference.
Yes, I have that quote down here too.
a couple weeks ago. I also have another reason why Instagram is testing out this feature is that the number of like counts can create a false sense of engagement. There are many bots and services that exist which send fake likes to posts, and they're saying that removing the likes is an effort in order to decrease fake paid engagement, and we'll talk a little bit about that more. So Alicia, why don't you start?
Yeah, I was just going to say, where do you want to start? Because
there's a lot of material to start from. So
very big topic.
So I guess let's choose a stance on whether or not we think
that's a good idea.
Whether or not we think removing the likes from Instagram is a good or a bad idea.
So I originally started this argument I wouldn't say upset, but I was a little bit bummed about the decision at first because I'm I'm an Instagram user. It's what I live for.
I have never posted.
Exactly. I feel like we
Instagram.
should make this very
I have
clear.
an account, but I've never posted.
Before we start this, is that
I've been tagged.
I am an active Instagram user, especially with somebody who works in the media. It's very hard not to be present in those spaces. So I use Instagram constantly. While you have an Instagram account, have never posted anything.
I have not. I have an Instagram account. I've been tagged in multiple things. I posted things on other people's accounts, but my Facebook or my Instagram page has 0 photos. But I am proud to announce that I have more followers than people I follow, which I feel is rare, with 0 posts.
I think that it's also important to mention that you do use the platform though. Before...
Follow me at Adrian Toby.
That's not it, is it?
I don't know what it is. That just goes to show. I don't even know what
your
it
username is.
But follow me. Link in the description to follow me.
No, but it's still people should know that you still use the platform. You still scroll through it. You still follow people. I would say you view it every morning, right?
Yeah, funny hood vids and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. 6buzz, and I'll take you in sends. I'll send you DMs. You'll view them, so you are aware of the platform and how much it affects people. You just don't post, which is very admirable of you in a sense.
You know what? I technically post because I buy ads. And they show up on Instagram.
I wouldn't really...
So it's my content technically that's there. So I am
really
aware of how much engagement matters on Instagram because I bought advertising on Instagram. Didn't convert though. Just for the record. So I stopped.
Okay. So, as I was saying, my opinion for it is that at first I was upset about it. And like a lot of people, Instagram is the kind of thing that it's less about... A lot of other social media platforms are a lot about engagement with other people. You know what I mean? Like Twitter and stuff, you're constantly, tweeting back and forth, Facebook. Well, Instagram doesn't really have that as much. It's more of you to kind of just showcase your life and then feel good about yourself with your following, in a sense.
The more likes you get equals the amount of happiness that you receive from sharing.
And I'm not going to lie here to make myself look better. I'm the kind of person who, when I was on Instagram, I would constantly...
When you are, because you haven't stopped. What was is not the appropriate context for that statement.
Well, I mean, now
called out.
No, but now it's irrelevant because there's no likes. But I would check my likes. I would constantly... I wouldn't say obsess over it, but I would still... be like, okay, I need to post this at this time because if I post it at 8 p.m., I get more engagements than if I post
That's true. You did do that.
Yeah.
You were, although you only really did that when we met. You haven't done it recently.
The thing is, I'm not alone. Like, people who post, they know about the best engagement times. Like, this is a business thing. Everybody who is there for engagement thinks about these things.
But if everybody posts at the same time, then isn't that like counterintuitive to
That's
when...
fair.
It's like if everybody's hipster, is anybody really hipster? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, yes.
Besides the point.
But it's just that likes on Instagram have almost become like a currency in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Influencers, they post, they get the likes, they get the followers, so they can get the ads. And if they don't have the likes, then all of a sudden the entire system changes.
Yeah.
And it's different for people who are already established, but for people who are trying to establish themselves into like the social influencer world, like it could seem
Don't get me started on influencers.
It could seem like a big deal to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I first heard about it. Immediately I thought it was a good thing when I first heard about it. And I thought it was a good thing for a couple reasons. There was a lot of it, at least there was proclaimed, and there's been studies and so on, and I believe there is definitive proof to proclaim that social media is an addiction for vulnerable people, and that or people can easily obsess over those statistics.
It absolutely is.
And it has also created an extremely profitable industry for people to fakely become, how do I say fakely in a more eloquent terminology?
Are you trying to
undeservedly become
I would be careful with your word choices there because they still make it, whether they make it through Instagram, YouTube, celebrity.
Well, I was going to say people have undeservedly large following simply because they paid for it, was what I was supposed to say.
Paid for it. Yeah, that's fair, but you can also argue the same thing about like MTV, you know?
Fair.
Right. It's the argument for all forms of media, but that is true.
Yeah, but MTV bought, not fake fans, but they paid lots of money to gain real fans. Some people by literally
fair.
fake
That
accounts. And it's almost like we say, monkey see, monkey do. If you see a whole crowd of people flocking to do an action, then you are more than likely to do an action. If everybody raises their hand in a room, do you raise your hand? Absolutely. That's just kind of just the way that it works. So if you see 5,000 likes on a post, you're like, oh, I'm going to like that. But little do you know that those 5,000 likes are not real people. So removing the likes removes any incentive for people to go out and purchase fake engagement, which levels the playing field for people who are starting out on Instagram, as well as it just levels the playing field in general.
The thing is, though, you say that, but bots aren't only for likes, they're also for followers. And Instagram, obviously, followers are still very, very apparent. So while people may not be using bots for likes anymore, it's not something that's going to be completely disappearing from the social platform.
But, if you... It doesn't take a genius to correlate this person has 20,000 followers, but their last post has, not... well, I guess you wouldn't be able to make that comparison because
exactly.
You can't see the likes.
You can't see
I
likes.
guess you're right, yeah.
So if anything, it's going to encourage the follow bots. But I do see what they're trying to do. I think one of the big things for me is, like you're mentioning, the fact that, like, it will discourage, like, monetary value and stuff. But they also mentioned, like, that it's a mental health issue. And they're trying to focus on that. And what I didn't know is I've read this from Huffington Post, I believe.
Super legit source.
I've read it from a few sources.
Okay, we have multiple sources.
But we have a quote that you already read about how they were saying that they wanted for people to more focus on expressing themselves. And apparently, like, the reason why the stories were created was another thing. It was to kind of alleviate the pressure of getting likes, because you could post things on your stories and there's no like value there. So you could be more creative and more expressive in that sense without having to worry. And this is just kind of...
You don't have to show all of your skin in order to get...
Exactly. And I think
vote.
They're trying to continue that. And especially for younger girls, like, likes and this environment that we're being pushed into is very, unhealthy. So if likes don't matter anymore, you feel less pressure about what you're posting. And then you start to post more for yourself opposed to the value of it. But I think it's what they're trying to really get down to. Of course, there's a lot of flaws in that. But
I agree. So historically, I am a business person and a digital marketer. So the digital marketer community is up in arms about this topic, and they are not a fan because Instagram is historically, as long as it's been around, a huge tool for revenue generation for I don't know, most popularly pyramid schemes. But
anything though, really, like...
any sort of product that you can ship. It's also an interesting thing that they choose to announce this change now because Instagram is about to incorporate direct e-commerce into their app. Now, this is something that not most people know about, but us in the marketing community are very aware of. So they're about to release a feature where you will be able to buy products directly through Instagram using Android Pay or Apple Pay or whatever kind of phone
Haven't they already
you use.
been beta testing that?
They have been beta testing,
Yeah.
yes. So they have been beta testing that in certain regions and for certain product lines. So, if your favorite influencer is selling X product, you will be able to buy that said product from that influencer directly through the app, which is interesting that they choose to make the like thing because I feel like the like factor would make that all the more effective.
You are absolutely true about that. And the thing is like, Instagram is one platform. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's one of the top platforms, but who's to say that another platform, like, if people don't like this change, they won't go elsewhere?
I feel like they won't go elsewhere.
It's here.
Canadians are inherent. So my second thought, before we move on, about this change was it's so righteous that they released this change in Canada.
Yes.
Of all places. We are a socialist bunch.
We're too nice to say no.
We're too nice to say no, and we're a socialist bunch, and we like it when everybody has more or less equal things, and all things being equal in Canada, we now have equalized likes across the board.
I think it's also fair to say that they want to test it in a place that's similar to the marketing schemes of America. And we're just less aggressive than America,
Yeah, Americans are punters.
So obviously they want to kind of, because social influencers, like, they're a very big North American thing. Like, America is, like, dominated
America
by social influencers.
Eagles.
Like, America, like,
Freedom.
advertisement advertisement is constantly changing. It has been for years, it went from print to radio to television to like internet, and now it's going into this kind of social influencer phase.
Those are for anybody who doesn't know. Alicia recently graduated from the University of Toronto, and that is her degree showing up in full force just now.
That one sentence is all I learned the entire time I was there.
Brilliant. And it was a good sentence, though.
Thank you. But, like, the thing is like, advertisement is constantly changing, and it has to keep up with the times. Like, even when internet first advertising started, like, the banners were a thing. They were a huge thing. And then people stopped liking the banner ads and the pop-up ads, and then you needed to find out, like, different forms of advertisement. And social influencers are a really good way to do it. So for Instagram to kind of devalue that is really surprising to me as well, because likes do matter.
Instagram is so at this point, Instagram is basically an app to serve the influencer.
It
is really, and I don't think that's what they wanted, which is why I think they're making
that
this
is fair.
change.
No,
they didn't. They wanted it to be a place where people could express creativity, not where someone can amass almost what's the most, like 30 million. I don't know how many. Can you look up who has the most Instagram followers?
Oh, followers! I have the most likes up here.
Wasn't it the egg?
Yes,
it was the egg.
So the egg.
Although I would argue that was an incredible exercise in creativity.
You can also argue that that's one of the reasons why they kickstarted this, because people are way more obsessed with the likes than the content. Like, it was a photo of an egg.
Yeah, but it was a brilliant. I don't understand. Was it a marketing strategy? Like, what was the end? What did that?
Nothing.
Out?
Okay.
Nothing. It was just an egg.
The person who did it.
Sidetrack.
So the person who did it, they created another photo with an egg with a crack in it. Yeah. And was like, let's make this number one egg. It didn't make number one, but hold on, I have the list here. It did make the top list. Let me just scroll up.
So
quickly.
Cracked egg made it.
So basically, it was a normal egg, the same company. Yeah. They just had a little tiny crack in it.
Yeah.
And it came in. Now it's the 14th most liked
14th most liked.
With 12 million.
Was there a third installment?
There was a few, but they didn't really kick up. And then all I know is that the person who created it tried to make merch afterwards.
Well, that just goes to show you that Instagram has become an engine of profitability.
The thing is, it wasn't like they made this and was like, hey, this is like for my company here. I feel like it was somebody who made it and then was like, oh, by the way, while you're here, let me just try and profit off of this, right?
You think they don't made it because of the egg, or you think they already had a thing and then they...
No, I think they made it because of the egg.
Did they make it because of the egg?
I would assume so. Like, you don't sell t-shirts from that marketing scheme,
I don't know, but that if the egg cracked and opened into like some sort of product, that would have been the greatest marketing strategy I'd ever heard of. If you like opened it up and it was like a Gillette razor or some bullshit, like that would have been, or what is it, cream egg? That would have been hysterically funny.
Oh, okay. I'm going on to I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't followed this since it happened.
We're about to fact check real hard.
So right now, the World Record Egg has 18 posts and 8.9 million followers. So the first post, this is the last time I checked it on this egg, was in...
So how do we know that's how many likes it has?
It's still showing me likes for this page.
Oh, you must be... I guess it's only through the app?
I think so. I can see the likes through my browser page.
I don't know.
But, so this was posted back in, like, January. So that was a while ago when this whole, like, thing kicked down. But there's a photo of DJ Khaled, so it looks like now they're trying to pull sponsorship into it because they had like 18 million followers. So they may as well do something with it at this point, right?
DJ Khaled!
But I don't know. I just think that this is literally the prime example of why this is an issue. Like, people are like, why are they taking away the likes? Because the likes are so important that an egg was able to break the record of likes.
So, but I still don't know who has the most followers.
Oh, the most followers?
Isn't it? Yeah, I know. Isn't it? It's the couple. It's the royal couple. It's Markle and Harry, isn't it?
I'm fact-checking you.
I'm pretty sure they just, like, their Instagram account, like, skyrocketed to number 1 in, like, less than 24 hours.
Is Wikipedia liable source?
I feel like somebody from Instagram keeps that shit updated.
The most followers for an Instagram account is the Instagram account.
That's bullshit.
With 299 million followers.
Who follows Instagram?
I don't. The second one is Cristiano Ronaldo, who's a football player.
Cristiano Ronaldo?
And the third one is Ariana Grande.
Football player, as in soccer.
Yeah,
if you're Canadian.
Sorry, from Portugal. I just read football off the thing and assumed it was an American football player. Soccer.
as in British football.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
European football. I shouldn't say British. I should say European.
You're absolutely right. But so that's the followers, but you can still see the followers, so it's really not an issue there.
I feel like their original intention was to, and they said as much, is to create a place where people can be free to express and not necessarily have to worry about the like count, but simply post content for the sake of posting the content, not for the sake of the psychological reward that is likes.
Yeah, but it's just like it's gotten to the point now where I don't think there's turning back. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they're trying to turn the
they
clock
can
back.
try all they want, but if you think about it, like people are signing up for Instagram and joining Instagram, and not a single like. I don't want to talk for everybody, but a majority of Instagram users, like, they do care about their following. And it's weird to me because for, like, Facebook, you didn't really care about that as much. Like, you weren't constantly checking how many friends you had on Facebook, right?
No, but nobody uses Facebook anymore either.
But when Facebook was big.
Yeah.
And advertisement didn't kick off the same way in Facebook either, or Twitter. You know, it's just
By
Instagram.
the way, while we're on the subject of Twitter, I just have a small theory that in 2015, Donald Trump single-handedly saved Twitter from going out of business.
Oh, that's a whole other podcast.
That's a whole. But I believe I'm going to set up the context for the next debate date. Donald Trump single-handedly saved Twitter. But moving on back to
written an essay about that. The only reason why Twitter is still alive is because of Donald Trump.
They were about to declare bankruptcy. And then as soon as Donald Trump freaking announced he was going to race and won the election, boy, did Twitter
the
ever
thing
freaking
is, who
light up.
has a Twitter account that doesn't follow Donald Trump?
I don't think I do. I should, though. But I listen to it. I hear enough.
To be
about
fair,
Donald
though,
Trump.
a lot of people, like, it's their own personal space. They don't want, like, Donald Trump's, like, tweets. Like, you know, you don't want that when you're drinking your coffee in the morning, maybe.
I follow somebody else that we both know that might as well be Donald Trump on Twitter.
Doug Ford. No?
All right. Back to Facebook. Oh, you were saying something about Facebook.
I was just saying about how Instagram has created its own advertisement platform when nobody else has really been able to do that. Because the thing is, it's like, even when you follow meme accounts, you know? Like,
God, those are meme accounts are the worst offenders.
they still have ads. Like, anybody who has over 1,000 followers.
What's the new one? The new one is the Sarah's Diet. And someone lost 25 pounds. It's literally a photo of two different people side by side. Like, for God's sake, they have different skin tones. Like, in a different bathroom.
No,
it's awful. I'm sorry.
It's not good. Or I've noticed another thing, too, is that recently, after this whole, like,
thank God that they removed the likes from those posts, or else it'd be more pervasive.
But after this, they're starting to advertise now a lot of the meme accounts right now that at least I follow. They've been advertising an app that you can download and pay for, and it'll tell you, like, who's following you, who unfollowed you, who's been stalking your page. And they've advertised it, like, you can see if your crush has visited your Instagram profile today.
I'd say that's not possible if I didn't think it was possible. Honestly, there are so many security flaws in Instagram is maintained wholeheartedly by Facebook, so I can't vouch for whether or not Instagram maintains many of the same privacy flaws that Facebook has. But I digress. So, I don't think we both... I think that removing the likes is a good idea for individuals.
I agree.
But I don't... It's not a brilliant solution for those wishing to turn Instagram into a monetization platform.
Yes. The thing is like, when I first heard about it, I was upset. But after a while, I've actually enjoyed it more. I've been posting more. I've been less, I haven't checked my phone after I posted a photo.
You can post photos of me back to back without feeling bad about it.
Yeah, I would do, no, I'm not even going to lie about this because I want to be honest about this experience because I am somebody who is sucked into the social media platform. And I would do things like, I have a boyfriend, but
for anybody who doesn't know, she's not available. She's taken.
If I only post photos of me and my boyfriend, then
I'm serious.
Stop. Then I only look a certain way. So I have to even it out. I have to have a boyfriend photo, then at least 2 photos of me before I post another one.
Because that way other guys might think that she's moved on by then.
Oh my God.
Pick up the guy count.
Jesus Christ. No, but it's just like, you have standards and rules in your head that you need to follow to get readership. Readership.
It's viewership on Facebook. Does anybody read anything on Instagram?
I mean, if they're advertisements.
Fair enough.
You know? But it's hard because you didn't deal with this. You never really had to. You never really cared.
No, I am not a big... Actually, I'm a massive social media user, but I only use Facebook, and mostly because I use that to digest all of the marketing and business information I need for the day, because that's where most of my sources are from. I belong to... I use it for Facebook pages.
Yes, but when
do you belong to any Facebook like groups or Facebook pages or anything like that?
Of course I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
I belong to like 4, and all of them are like incestuous in the information that they distribute. But I only use it for Facebook groups.
I follow, or I'm joined some like, Bun's Employment, a bunch of like business stuff, but I also follow about like 7 different dog accounts.
Oh, and I suppose you're part of the Narcity page as well.
Well, that's not really a forum though.
Fair enough.
Right? There's a difference. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it is really good for individuals. I think it hits women differently than it hits men. Obviously not all men. It's obviously like not a huge spectrum, but
how is Boys with Plants faring?
They're doing fine.
Are they doing fine?
Boys with Plants, in case you probably already know, is an Instagram platform page.
If you're a lady and you're you don't got a man at home, then check out Boys with Plants.
But see, they're a prime example of how they've used their viewership to create a business, because it started off just as a page that would post photos of half naked men with plants.
Mostly naked men.
Not any nudity.
But nudity.
Sometimes. But they would post these photos, they gained a followership through it, and then they've turned it into a business. They have a book now.
They have a book.
They have a book.
Tell us about this book.
It's like a tabletop book. I don't have it.
Is it just pictures of boys with plants?
I think so.
Brilliant.
But they have mugs, they have tank tops, t-shirts, stickers. Like, they've marketed themselves through these likes and readerships. And like, you have to wonder, like, is these disappearing like counts gonna change people who are trying to grow into these companies?
My prediction, if we're gonna level out predictions, I'm gonna lay out a prediction here. Is that individuals, not businesses or not influencers, individual engagement will increase.
I agree.
I don't believe that corporate engagement or influencer engagement will decrease, but I believe that the net benefit that they'll receive from their engagement and from their followers will decrease. So I think that for the foreseeable future, influencers, corporations, and businesses will continue to shell out the same amount of content that they're continuing to, but I believe that a noticeable decrease in their revenues will result in the likes disappearing.
See, I don't agree with that fact.
All right, what's your prediction?
So I think that the people who are already established are going to continue to be the way they are. I don't think it's going to decrease or anything, especially since, people are loyal to them. They've already gained a followership. I don't think that's going to diminish. What I do think is going to diminish is the people who are in between at the moment. The people who are slowly starting to rise, haven't fully been established. I think those people are going to be hurt the most because...
Hurt how?
Hurt by, like, they're going to not be able to grow and flourish and, like, create brands and sponsorships.
They're not going to turn into companies.
Exactly. And I think this, just because the people who are trying to grow, that's when the likes matter. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you're already established and people are coming to see you because you have established companies, products, sponsorships, and it's different.
Like this James guy.
But, yeah, okay, that's a bit different, though. But then
we'll get there.
If you're in the
podcast is young.
If you're in the middle, likes matter, because when you have a hashtag and people are scrolling through and they're like, oh, this dude has like 3,000 likes. Who is this person? And then people will be more inclined to focus on it. Well, if you're just scrolling through and everybody has the same amount of likes, your hashtag is suddenly diminished, and you're the same like everybody else, which is what Instagram wants. So,
as with most communist strategies or socialist strategies, when you equalize everybody, the rich suffer, but the poor flourish. To a point where the playing field is equalized. Of course, Instagram is not necessarily meddling with an economy.
In a sense, they are, though.
They're meddling with an economy that isn't detrimental to the rest of society.
The thing is, though,
rather than an actual communist party being, the political leaders of Canada,
can still argue it's an economy. People make money off of this.
This
Likes
is true.
Are currency.
So, which is why my prediction: influencers, regardless of status, will suffer from this change. Is my opinion or my prediction. And those who are just regular Instagram users will get more, or at least engage with whether they get more engagement or not is unknown, but they will engage more with the app. So active users, they will become more active users.
I also think it's important to note, too, that it definitely will help mental health. Like, that's definitely a given. But it's just
kind of hard to obsess over like counts if you can't see them.
Exactly. But the thing is, it's like you can still see them, and you can still see followers. So it's kind of like a deadbeat attempt of trying to fix this issue. It's a step in the right direction, but it's not really fully resolved. Like, that's why I don't think social influencers who are already established are really going to decrease, because they can still show their advertisers their following count and their like count. Will less people like it? Maybe.
I suppose only time will tell. And that brings us to the end of Debate Date. Thank you so much for joining us. You can leave your comments in the description or in the comment section below if you're on the website. If you're not on the website, then you can link. I suppose there's a link somewhere on our website, on iTunes. I don't know. Is there a link somewhere?
For what?
I don't know. If they're listening on Spotify, can they get to our website? I don't know. Well, I'm just going to tell you what the website is. So the website is tipsytheory.com. You can leave your thoughts about this debate in the comment section there.
We also have an Instagram and a Facebook page. So
go like those.
Even though likes don't matter, but go ahead and like it.
Yeah, go follow us, because we always release our content and our new posts through those channels. So go and follow those. So you can always stay up to date on the latest content.
And you can also check out our drink recipes on our website. We post those ahead of the shows so that if you want to drink along with us, you totally can.
Just as a reminder, tonight we were drinking mojitos, so find the mojito recipe link in the description, only if you're on the website. Again, the website is tipsytheory.com. That's tipsytheory.com. But before we end, let's talk a little bit about our sponsor for this episode. Groundhog Marketing Automation for WordPress. Groundhog is a marketing automation plugin for WordPress, which is a popular website builder that populates 30% of the entire internet. That's a lot of websites. Groundhog Marketing Automation plugin for WordPress is a free plugin that you can use to send emails, text messages to your subscribers and the people who follow you. It's absolutely free and just installs into any pre-existing WordPress website. So whether you have a business already or you're looking to start your own business and communicate with those who follow you, Groundhog is an excellent tool for your choice. Just go to groundhog.io. Again, that's groundhog.io. Click the download now button for your free copy.
Groundhog with 2 G's.
With 2 G, I should mention that it is Groundhog with 2 G's. So
HOGG.
HOGG.io. The .com is taken. So thank you to them for sponsoring this podcast. Link in the description of this podcast below.
Cue the outro music.